That's why she put red. That's why she had red on. Now all the individuals or the choreographing around her, things of that nature with this plague, was wearing white. So there was it's a correlation to what they already practice over there in Sunni Muslim and shit like that, right? Where those are representations of the sperm cells, and it's almost because they like to do this with Beyonce a lot because the bee and the beehive and shit like that. But it's the kind of the same energy and shit like that, where all the soldier bees surround and protect the queen bee. But it's the same allegory to the egg cell and all the masculine thought forms praising that feeling and emotion, because the feeling and emotion is what the Masons call mother. And they also call it the mind also. But the mind is masculine and feminine, but you can only make the womb bigger, make your mind bigger if you're receiving on the feminine side. Because the masculine side, you externalize it. You emit your light and express it to others in some way, shape, or form, metaphorically. But when you're receiving, you make your mind bigger. But if your mind get too big, all these chakras get too big, it become heavy. So that's why you have to have some equilibrium. Know when it's time to externalize, masculine, and know when it's time to receive, feminine, in some way, shape, or form, because these could get too motherfucking heavy. But this is how you make your womb bigger, your mind bigger. And then the heavier it is, that cloud rain in as the REIGN, and it start to materialize as matter, people, places, and things in your life. And you start to experience that day that you emitted inside of you, outside of you now. And you get to experience the masculine natures of it before it expires. So when we start to talk about Rihanna, Rihanna was representation of the egg cell, and the other things was the other people, the choreography was representations of the sperm cell, right? So the sperm cells. So when you look at it within context, it's based on a formation. When she first came down, you're going to see her being on the first middle, with a middle platform. That's the highest. But what you're actually going to see is there's going to be two platforms of individuals that's dancing on both sides of her, and then two more. So it's like it was four of those sky Mortal Kombat layers that they was on. And 5, anytime you see 5, that just represents the star, no matter how I was doing it. For an example, like, I don't want to give too much of my own energy away though, but that's kind of like my sign, right? When I do this, flight boss, bitch, you know for sure. You're now listening to the mind. Oh, hold on. Flight boss, bitch, you know for sure. You're now listening to the mind of an Tary's moon. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. Now, within context, operative wise, it's just me playing the logo and things of that nature. Ohio, I stay on the south side and shit like that, and 330 Youngstown and shit like that, right? That's the operative side. Now, the spiritual side of that is I point to the mind, because these are your wings: fire, water, the filler, air, earth, the thinkers, and this motherfucking shit, right? And then when you break it together, that's your mind being whole, right? And then you cut it in half, right? That'll be both sides, being masculine and feminine, yin and yang, and this motherfucking shit. And then when I do that, that's 5. That makes a star. That makes a star. A star is born. So when you see flight bus, bitch, you know for sure. You're now listening to the mind of an Tary's moon. I'm the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. That I just did a formation of how your mind is formatted. You know what I'm saying? That's how your mind is formatted. Your mind is formatted with 2 sides. That's whole. That you could break down. That's a star. So, now, I told myself I should have never broke that down. I told myself I was never going to break that down to no humans. But it's good to this context right here as far as understanding, witchcraft and understanding things that what's going on in the world, and everything that we use as far as our hand signs, symbolisms, and all kind of shit is us creating our mind and making a formatted structure. And then the things that we add on to that long enough, it manifests in this world in real ways. Now, God give you confirmation in all the many ways, even beyond ways you are aware of how you can encapsulate it, transmute it, how it's gaining attraction, how you're getting attention, and in other areas, how other people are attracted, where they may be unaware how they're being attracted, but based upon you being an occultist, these are things you have to be into in order for you to materialize or manifest, in order to make transformation, transference, and transmuting. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when you can be a real student for God, because this is how God created the world. Now, so when we start to talk about the star, right? That's the whole breakdown of the star. So that's why she was on the highest pillar as the egg cell, right? And then she was coming down, and on both sides of her, it was a bunch of sperm cells, and it made the five blocks made a star. So when she was brought down, then they started to play the formation, aka coming into the belly, right? Coming from the thorax, or coming from this area, or Abraham's bosom, coming into the gut area where all we see is red. So that's why the platform was red also, and between red and white and shit like that. And therefore the formations and the songs she was singing was the songs that, or the vibrations that correlate to root chakra, Aries and Scorpio type things, right? And this is like formation, synchronicity, attraction, manifesting, sexiness, sexuality, and blending in. And then the colors represent that area down there also. Baphomet, red, white, black. Now, for the most part, here's the thing. Now, once they started to do the formation, then they get to the last song. You might have thought the last song was just, oh, Rihanna picked it to sing it. No, it's shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Okay, now you start to see the formation of everything going back, and she went back into the middle one, and you see how it lowered at the beginning, and then at the end when she starts singing that song, it started rising again. And for the most part, at the end of that song, like a diamond in the sky. So it's basically you see the fireworks, and it's basically saying a star is born, a baby is born, the egg cell is getting born. Now, diamonds in the sky, you might get lost based on the witchcraft that the shadow government have conveyed to you of you dying and going to heaven, and heaven being in the sky. But that's actually wrong. The people who wrote these literatures as a starting point, what they actually call as heaven is a spirit going into a new body, a new glorified body. And if you read around the context on what a new glorified body means, it just means anytime as a spirit you transition into a better mind, and that mind bend in on itself and be those organs that represent that life or that spiritual race in that circumstance. So for an example, right? The Masons made the movie All Dogs Go to Heaven. The movie is about